putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com, 844-551-8255 if you do want to contact the show. So we came up, this is a funny thing. I love Jeopardy, and we came up with a Jeopardy question, and then it morphed into something. So here's kind of how we wrote this as a skit, but it says, I'll take U.S. presidential economies for 2000, Alex. And Alex says, the U.S. GDP was revised upwards to 3.3% under President Trump. Bing! And I'd bring in and go, what is things that Obama never heard during his presidency? I love that. So what I want to do is, I was thinking, and I know Alex Trebek will never do this, but I would love to come up with conservative Jeopardy, where we just, took all these categories of idiocy of the left, and we made up these categories and then gave questions, and you had to answer them. Wouldn't that be cool to be a writer for Jeopardy and you had a show for conservatives? Oh man, that would be a field day. And if it were done in comedy, it would make it even funnier. But we can't use, you can't use the Jeopardy stuff at all, because they protect that brand like crazy. So anyway, I was talking about, fake news, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who had gone to lunch with the president, and he sends me a link, and it shows he and his wife, Brett Baer and his wife, the guy that owns American Express and his wife, Chris Ruddy, who owns Newsmax, and his wife, I believe his wife was there, the president, and somebody else. It was about 10 or 12 people. And he showed they were watching. There was a Politico magazine, online magazine was there, and they reported him there. And he goes, "Hey, check it out," because he had told me. He said, "Yeah, Kevin, I was having lunch with the president." And normally people, you're like, "Oh, yeah, sure, whatever," but no, it was true. But he sent me the link saying, "Hey, Politico was spying on us," and he showed me. That's not even what I want to talk about. What I was going to tell you is, so he's having this conversation with me, and we were talking about different things going on, and he said, "Yeah," he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to tell you the part." The conversation was on the record to begin with, because he's got Fox News, Brett Baer, and the reason why Baer was there was he was having a beef. He and the President Trump were having a beef, and I don't think Trump's been on his program because he favors Sean Hannity, and so my friend was sort of brokering the peace between those two, is what one of the things that he said. But it was an interesting conversation. And he says, so, Kevin, I was asking him about this, that, and here's what I'll give you some inside baseball. The first thing he said, not the first thing, but probably the most important thing was, he said to him, I'm not going to say my friend's name, but he says to him, this whole investigation of the Russians, this whole Flint thing, it's nothing. He goes, there's nothing there. I'm giving you 100% assurances this is exactly what came out of Trump's mouth, in the sense, in not word per word, but in paraphrase, there's nothing there. They can look all they want. Let them do it. This guy is not losing a moment's sleep over this. Not one. The second thing was, and this one was interesting because it reminded me of the story about Clarence Thomas, Justice Clarence Thomas, when I was with him. But he said, Tillerson's not leaving. And he says, Donald Trump said to him point blank, look, we got our differences, but it's nothing like they're reporting. And he goes, he's not leaving. Now, it's not that he's not free to leave. He's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. But he's saying, look, this thing that they're making up, it's not anything like what the media is saying. And I thought to myself, I believe it, because it harkens me back to the Clarence Thomas thing, where they were saying he was going to retire. And I watched Justice Thomas's lips when he says, Kevin, I never said that. Never. He goes, hadn't even thought it. So where'd they come up with this? Somebody just made it up. And that's when he told me that in 1987 or 89, he quit listening to the news. He says he knew it was fake. And I can only guess he knew it was fake because he's an insider. And if you are in a meeting and you know what took place in a meeting, and then the media says something completely different, you go, wow, they just made that up. But we've come to, in the past, we'd come to trust the media as the people that are trying to get it right every time. trying to report what's really happening. That's not the case. I want you to think about that for just a second, that there's a conspiracy out there to make sure that they're forming the narrative for you. They don't want you to make a decision for yourself. Somebody is manipulating things to the point to saying, this is the way I want people to think. How sick is that? That is sad. Look, I get it. I understand I really don't get why somebody would want you to think a particular way, except in a debate where you're having open and honest dialogue. But we don't even have that. We have one-sided discussion. What was it that was posted? We posted something recently, and suddenly I'm getting all this hate mail from black people. And you, Uncle Tom, you piece of crap, whatever. And I was like, what in the world? So I go and look, and it was you know what I posted? I posted the actual truth of an Ebony editor, Ebony magazine, saying that something like white people need to die. That's what I posted. I didn't elaborate. I just said, here's an article of a black chick that is an Ebony editor who's saying white folks need to die. No rationale, no nothing. And people like, yeah, I mean, I'm getting mail, back on Facebook or whatever, the messages, you Uncle Tom, you all this, you just a tool of the white man. You do this to the white man. And I'm like, really? So posting the truth of what a lady actually said sets you off. I mean, that to me is a level of ignorance that makes me want to pop those suckers right in the mouth. You think I'm kidding? And they all want to, Kevin, I want to kick your butt. I'm like, man, I wish I had a button for every time you suckers said you want to kick my butt. I could just pop you right into the octagon with me. The word I would do catch and release, because the word would get back real quick. Don't say that. He'll hit that button, boop, the easy button, because it is the easy button. But it bugs me that, you can't even say the truth. So the left, well, and for the record, they pretend, we want all we want is the truth. All we want, no, you don't. All they want is the truth as it fits their narrative. It's like a scientist who says, I have a theory about such and such. Now go make sure my theory is right. That's not the way you approach science. You approach science with an idea and you say, now, let me validate it or get rid of the idea. You're going to fail at something much more times than you're successful at, many more times than you're successful at it. So, let's go at it that way. But they don't. The left has a predetermined thing in terms of what they want. The predetermination is Hillary Clinton should be president. Because why? She's the smartest woman in the world. Really? Then why did she fail the bar exam in D.C.? It's funny. I was watching this Monica Lewinsky special that they ran on how all this stuff happened. And it's interesting. Hillary Clinton is the most conniving thing. She was going to do anything to make sure Bill Clinton stayed in power. But here's what the irony of it was. Bill Clinton could have stopped this thing at any time, and we would have never known about Monica Lewinsky. And then when when the cake sort of hit the fan with Monica Lewinsky, the conniving between him and his wife and all the operatives they had putting all this stuff together, if they had just done if it just come, clean on one or two things, we would never have known. And because of that dress, that was the biggest issue with Monica Lewinsky. If she hadn't saved that dress, she would have been just like all the way the left look at all the other women accusers of being Bill Clinton. Oh, they just hate him. They just were after him. If she hadn't saved that dress, but it was funny when they were showing the show on it or whatever you want to call it. When Bill Clinton was having to give his DNA, the look on that clown's face when he went, they got me. It was priceless. And when I didn't know this, they said Bill Clinton, they said we don't have to record your deposition, your response to this whole inquiry. And he goes, no, let's do it. He thought he was going to be able to sell it. And when he gets out of there, his own attorney said, dude, you're toast. It was funny on so many levels because, we all went through it and I was anti-Clinton in that regard. Not because at the end of it, he ends up being a pretty good president when you look at, he passed a lot of Newt Gingrich's Contract for America. But I didn't like the fact that he's so duplicitous. He's such a liar. And they talked about how he kept going back to saying, we got to go back to doing the people's business. I don't understand all this stuff. I just want to go back to doing the people's business. And so every person on there, the talking point was, we're going to go back to doing the people's business. Yeah, I think they meant doing business to the people. Anyway, we got to take a short break. We'll be back.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.